Wow, what a night. I mean, really, yeah, what a night. As Ms. Deckhouse said, when
he still calls me Mrs.
Yeah, when I decided I was going to take a job at ESPN and come back, this was the first thing that really, I knew I wanted to do something with her, and I wouldn't have gone from like hanging around the boys club on Laurel Street and the Cave Waters Little League and working Parks and Rec in the summer. Like I was ordinary. I was mediocre. I wasn't a very good athlete. I wasn't anybody's best student. But I knew I wanted to write, and I wanted to get better at it, and that whole world opened up to me when I had Mrs. Dickow for my sophomore year, and then creative writing as a junior, sophomore English, creative writing as a junior. Creative writing was a half semester class. So I took physics the first semester. I took chemistry the first semester because you had to have that science for. I got through biology as a sophomore. Junior year, I take chemistry, Mr. Osipiak, and I really tried. I really tried. First marking period, F. All right. Go for extra help, the charts, the whole, not getting this. Second marking period, I think F, right? So now he's like, you got to drop this. It's like, you got to get out. You can't have it. So if you drop it, it won't be on your college record. It just never happened. Right. And so I was able to transfer into creative writing. So like one of the great comebacks in academic history from 2 Fs in chemistry to, and then I was able to get through Mr. Martin's physics as a senior, learning about roller coasters. Somehow I got a B. I don't remember his physics, but it changed my life. It gave me confidence and belief, and it got me on the way. And I, some of your dads, your moms here, I saw Alex play high school basketball at St. Paul. I used to go to all the big games, Kerry Edwards and great St. Paul rivalries, and Rod Hickey, his brother, Lydell and I were in the same class, and Rod was a freshman when we were seniors, and we had the 2 great freshmen in the state, Malcolm Huckabee and Rod Hickey, who were going to come. They were playing varsity as freshmen. I remember Rod was the 6'4.5", 6'5" freshman who graduated the 6'4.5", 6'5" senior. Right? I thought you were like a 6'9", shot blocking, but it worked out. But there was nothing that extraordinary about any of us growing up here, and the opportunities and who we became. And we talked about Captain Fedor. I drove by his house, and you turn on the network news at night and you see him in fighting drug runners off the shores of Miami, saving people, saving ships in distress off Cape Cod when he was there, when those 2 young men off of Florida a couple years ago got out in a rowboat and disappeared. He led the search and rescue, and he was the spokesman every night on television for what was a big national story. And Mark went to the Coast Guard Academy because it was free, right? He got in and they gave free tuition. I don't know that he dreamed of being in the Coast Guard, but he was able to get in, and he's like he's led ships all over the Southeast and East, and now he's going to go to Washington, and just done incredible things. And we all started just like you guys. And so for me to be able to come back to Bristol and have the opportunity I have at ESPN, and Crystal Plaka was, I think of 2 of my mentors in education, Mrs. Dickow and Crystal Plaka, who I was an intern. We both went to St. Bonaventure. He was an alum, and the sports information director at St. Bonaventure knew I lived in Bristol and connected me with Chris, and he was like a teacher to me. I learned attention to detail and his enthusiasm, and that's the one thing that I hope you all take from your experience at Central, take from tonight, the enthusiasm of Chris and Gail. That inspired me, and wanting to continue to have her in the school. I think of what she's meant to me, to my classmates, to you, generations at Central, and to have a chance for something that she could keep giving, and because she always has more to give. And so I'm excited, like the work, the writing, the spirit of this, and the caring that you all feel for each other. Like you could feel it around all the time. Like this was it was inspiring to me. And so, like, you know, you hear jokes about Bristol, and if you work at ESPN, you hear some stuff, and I always say, hey, you can't say that around me. Like, only I'm allowed to make fun of Bristol. I'm from here, right? You know, like 30 liquor stores, 40 pizza places, but like no real restaurants. Like I can make that joke, right? That never changes. So, but I've had so much fun being around you guys this year and watching your accomplishments, seeing you guys get accepted to colleges and go to schools that I couldn't dream of getting into, and it's just been inspirational. It really has, and so I'm really just honored that you guys have been a part of the program, and the one thing I'll ask of you is to give back yourself, and that might be in your college community. You may come back and live in Bristol, you may go and live somewhere across the world, but we all have a responsibility to lend a hand and help give people the same opportunities that we had. So I'm proud of all you guys. I'm excited for your futures, and I hope that when you get the chance, wherever you are, there's lots of different ways to give, and you'll see opportunities to do it, and don't hesitate, because you'll feel like I do right now, which is really proud. Thanks, guys.